Have you ever felt a chill run down your spine as if someone or something is watching you from the shadows? There's a tale that might just make you question every rustle in the leaves, every distant hoot of an owl in the dead of the night. Picture this: a group of friends bound by the thrill of adventure and a shared love for the unexplainable decide to spend a night under the twinkling canvas of the night sky. Their destination, a campground whispered to be haunted, nestled in the heart of an age-old forest. The air hangs heavy with the scent of pine and damp earth, a crackling fire serving as their only source of light against the encroaching darkness. The friends, their faces lit by the warm glow of the fire, share tales of old, laughter echoing in the stillness. They joke about the ghostly inhabitants rumored to roam these lands, their words a thinly veiled attempt to mask the unease that slowly creeps into their hearts. The hoot of an owl punctuates the silence, a haunting melody to their chilling campfire tales. As the night deepens, their laughter dwindles, replaced by an eerie calm. The fire, once a beacon of comfort, now dances with menacing shadows, casting long, ghostly figures on the surrounding trees. Every snap of a twig, every rustle in the undergrowth amplifies the unsettling atmosphere. But they persist, their determination fueled by the thrill of the unknown. They share stories, each more spine-chilling than the last, their voices barely above whispers. The fire crackles in response, spitting sparks into the night, the flames flickering like the wavering courage in their hearts. Yet, as the fire's embers begin to fade, they feel a sudden chill in the air. Their laughter has long since died away, replaced by a heavy silence that hangs over them like a shroud. An unsettling sense of unease creeps over them, as if the very air they breathe is warning them of the terrors that lurk in the darkness. As the fire's embers began to fade, they felt a sudden chill in the air, a sense of unease creeping over them. What do you do when the shadows start dancing on their own? Imagine this: you're sitting around a crackling fire, the only source of light in the vast darkness of the woods. Everything is calm, serene even, until you see it, the first sign of something amiss. Shadows, seemingly ordinary, begin to twist and warp in ways that defy the physics of light. They stretch long and thin, then shrink into obscurity, only to reappear once more, larger and more menacing than before. Shapes unfamiliar and grotesque, forms that should not exist in the realm of reality, appear and disappear in the blink of an eye. The friends, brave adventurers they may be, initially try to laugh it off. It's just the firelight, they say, playing tricks on our eyes. They attribute the strange occurrences to the flickering flames, the dancing embers, the shifting logs. It's an easy explanation, a comfortable one. But as the shadows continue their unnatural ballet, the laughter fades, the jokes fall flat, the unease grows. The fire, once a comforting presence, now a conspirator in their growing fear, casts an eerie glow on their faces. The friends huddle closer together, their banter replaced by silence, their bravado by apprehension. Their eyes dart around, tracing the movement of the shadows, trying to make sense of the senseless. The woods around them, once filled with the harmonious chorus of the night, fall eerily silent. Even the wind seems to hold its breath, waiting, watching. The friends can't shake off the feeling of being watched, of being scrutinized by unseen eyes from the darkest corners of the night. As they huddled closer together, they heard a sound that made their blood run cold, a sound that echoed through the silent woods, a sound that promised that the night was far from over, a sound that was a prelude to the terror yet to come. What would you do if the silence of the night was broken by a sound you couldn't explain? Our group of friends, huddled together in their campground, were about to discover the answer to that very question. The tranquility of the night was suddenly shattered by a symphony of odd sounds. The wind began to whisper, its voice carrying an eerie melody that seemed to seep into their bones. It was as if the wind itself was trying to tell them an ancient, forgotten tale. Next came the rustling of leaves, a sound usually associated with the calming rhythm of nature. But this was different. The rustling was erratic, chaotic, almost as if the leaves were trying to flee from an unseen terror. It was a rustling that seemed to echo with dread, a rustling that was far more than just the wind playing with the foliage. And then, the most disturbing sound of all, a low, guttural growl. It was a sound that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere. It was a growl that held a primal ferocity, a growl that seemed to reverberate within their very souls. It was a growl that promised danger, a growl that threatened to pull them into a world of shadows and terror. The friends tried to rationalize these sounds. They told themselves it was just the wind, just the leaves, just some distant animal. But deep down they knew their explanations were empty. The whispering wind, the rustling leaves, the guttural growl, these were not normal sounds. These were the sounds of a haunted campground, the sounds of a place that held secrets and horrors beyond their understanding. Panic started to set in. Their laughter and merriment from before seemed like a distant memory now. Their eyes darted around the darkness, searching for the source of the sounds, but they found nothing. Only the whispering wind, the rustling leaves, the guttural growl, only the eerie soundtrack of their nightmare. Just when they thought it couldn't get any worse, they felt a presence among them. Have you ever felt an unseen gaze upon you, a feeling so intense it makes your skin crawl? Imagine that chilling sensation amplified by the eerie silence of a haunted campground. That is exactly what our group of friends started to experience. An uncanny feeling took hold of them, a sensation they could not shake off. It was as if invisible eyes were following their every move, observing from the shrouded darkness. As they sat around their flickering campfire, the once comforting crackle of the flames seemed to mock them, the shadows dancing ominously on their faces. The wind whistled through the trees, whispering secrets they wished they didn't have to hear. Every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig, it all seemed to echo the unseen watcher's presence. Their laughter died down, their conversations faded to hushed whispers, and the jovial atmosphere evaporated into thin air. A prickling sensation started creeping up their spines, a cold dread that froze them to their core. They could no longer ignore the feeling, the undeniable certainty that they were not alone. Their eyes darted around the darkness enveloping them, seeking but not finding the source of their fear. They began to question their decision, the dare that had led them to this haunted campground. Their adventurous spirit had plunged them into a night of terror. The thrill they sought was now replaced by a fear they could not escape. The thought of leaving crossed their minds, but was it safer to stay put or venture into the unknown darkness? The friends huddled closer, their breaths hitching in unison as a sudden chill swept over them. The darkness seemed to grow denser and the silence deeper. The feeling of being watched intensified, an overwhelming dread that made their hearts pound in their chests. They were trapped in their own fear, their own curiosity. They decided to flee, to escape the unseen terror that had them in its chilling grip. But just as they were about to pack up, they realized something horrifying, something that sent shivers down their spines and made their blood run cold. As the feeling of dread overwhelmed them, they decided to flee, but then they realized something horrifying. What could be more terrifying than realizing you're not alone in the dark? The question hangs in the air like a specter, a chilling testament to the night's horrors. The friends, once so eager for an adventurous night, now find themselves in a waking nightmare. Their breaths catch in their throats as the crunch of unseen footsteps echoes around them. Shadows, formless and ominous, dance in the periphery, a macabre ballet of the unseen. A cold touch as ethereal as a ghost's caress grazes their skin, sending shivers down their spines. The realization dawns on them as cold and harsh as the unseen entity that now shares their company. They're trapped in the haunted campground, a playground for spectral entities. The terror reaches its peak, a crescendo of fear that engulfs them. Then, from the abyss of the darkness, a voice as chilling as the wind that rustles the trees echoes, "You should have never come here."